Hello everyone and welcome to your language class. This is the first episode of the IELTS Listening Band 9 course. If you are already an upper intermediate or advanced English learner and you want to get a Band 9 in IELTS listening, this video is for you. If you follow the advice in this course step by step, you will become familiar with each question type in the IELTS listening test and learn how to handle them more confidently and effectively so you can aim for a Band 9. In this first episode, I will give you a brief explanation of IELTS Listening Part 1 and then we will work through a real Part 1 test together. All the videos related to IELTS Listening will be saved in order in a dedicated playlist called IELTS Listening Band 9. If you are new here, my name is Rahim. I have been an English teacher for 10 years and I have been teaching general English, grammar and IELTS on my channel. And I have seen how upper intermediate and advanced learners can improve their listening score with the right strategy. So without further ado, let's get started. IELTS listening has 4 parts and in this video we are going to focus on one of the most common question types in part 1. Gap fill or fill in the blanks questions. First question, what is listening part 1 about? The topics are usually everyday and practical. For example, daily life, travel, work, study, shopping, places and services, hobbies or routines. Second question, what types of questions do you usually see in part 1? Most of the time you see fill in the blank questions, usually with a word limit. Sometimes you may also see matching questions and occasionally multiple choice questions. Third question, are the answers in order? Yes, they are usually in order in the audio file. Does spelling matter? Yes, absolutely. Misspelling can cost you marks. Does capitalization matter? Usually no, it does not. Will names of people and places be spelled? Most of the time, yes. However, if a name is very common or has more than one possible spelling, it may be clarified in the audio file. For example, a name like John may be spelled out for you if necessary. You might hear something like John with an H or without an H. How many questions are there in part 1? There are 10 questions. How many people usually speak in the audio? Usually there are 2 people. In IELTS listening part 1, the 2 most common question types are form completion and note completion. Form completion usually means you hear one person giving information to an operator, receptionist or staff member and you complete a form with details such as name, dates, phone numbers or addresses. In other words, you are listening carefully and filling in missing information. Note completion is similar, but in this type, you may be the caller or customer asking for information and you complete your notes from the answers you hear. Now let's take a real IELTS listening test. As you can see, there are 10 fill-in-the-blank questions and there is a word limit. Please pay close attention to the instruction at the beginning of the test. Here it says one word and or a number in each gap. And the next thing you should always pay attention to is the title. Here the title says Inquiry about Joining Youth Council. Now, why is reading the title so important? Unfortunately, I see many students say they do not read the title, but in my opinion, reading the title is one of the best ways to get the big picture of what is going to happen in the listening test. And that is not all, because you should also make predictions before you start listening. Good guessing is a real skill in IELTS listening, and it can save you time and help you stay focused. When I read Inquiry about joining youth council, several questions immediately come to mind. What is the council? How can I join it? Do I need any special documents? When can I join? What kind of people are they looking for? These questions help me understand the task before I even listen. I want to emphasize this because this is the first episode. Try to improve your guessing skills. Our brain cannot listen, guess, and answer effectively at the same time. Now let's check all the blanks and see how guessing works. This is the typical screen or page you will see in the computer version of IELTS, and the paper version is not very different, except that it is on paper instead of a screen. You can also see an example here which you do not usually see anymore because this test version is a little old. Blank number 1 says currently is staying in a... So as soon as I see the word staying, I immediately think of a place. So that is my first guess. We also have other keywords such as currently and staying or during the week, which are very helpful. Blank number 2 says postal address 17 Street, Stamford Lines. This is clearly an address. You can also see the capitalized word street here right after the blank. So it is very likely that the blank will contain the name of a street. If the street name is not a number, then I would expect it to be spelled. Blank number 3 is postcode, so it will definitely be a number. Blank number 4 is occupation, student, part-time job, so this must be a job title, and several possible job names may come to mind. Blank number 5 says studying something as the major subject and history as the minor subject. And a lot of possible major subjects may come to mind here, such as business, engineering, psychology, sociology, and other subjects like that. It must be the major subject, since the minor subject has already been mentioned. Blanks numbers 6 and 7 are hobbies, does a lot of something and is interested in the something. Here, because we have the verb does before blank 6 and the word hobbies before it, I would expect some kind of activity such as running, swimming, dancing, or something similar. Blank 7 is a little different. This person is interested in something, but we probably will not use a simple activity word here because there is the definite article the before the blank. So I expect this blank to be a proper noun than or something more specific expression rather than a common noun like running or hiking. Blank number 8 on youth council wants to work with young people who are, so we should expect a description of a specific group of people. For example, people who are homeless, unemployed, successful, or something similar. Blank number 9 says we'll come to talk to the elections officer next Monday at p.m. So we immediately know it will be a time. So blank number 10 is a mobile number, so that it's also easy. It will be spelled out digit by digit. Now let's listen and check.
Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good morning, Youth Council. Caroline speaking.
Oh, hello. I'm interested in standing for election to the Youth Council, and I was told to give you a call.
That's good. Could I have your name, please?
Yes, it's Roger Brown.
Thank you. I'm Caroline, the Youth Council Administrator. So, do you know much about what the council does, Roger?
I've talked to Stephanie. I think she's the chair of the council.
That's right.
And she told me a lot about it. How it's a way for young people to discuss local issues, for example, and make suggestions to the town council. That's what made me interested.
Fine. Well, let me take down some of your details. First of all, how old are you? You know the council is for young people aged from 13 to 18.
I've just turned 18.
And where do you live, Roger?
Well, that's a bit complicated. At the moment, I'm looking for a flat to rent here, so I'm in a hostel from Monday to Friday. I go back to my parents' place at the weekend.
OK. So where's the best place to send you some information about the council?
Oh, to my parents' address, please. That's 17 Buckley Street, Buckleigh Street, Stamford, Lincolnshire. Though you don't really need the county.
Oh, I know Stamford. It's a lovely town. And what's the postcode?
PE9 7QT.
Right, thank you. So are you working here or are you a student?
I started studying at the university a couple of weeks ago, and I've got a part-time job for a few hours a week.
What do you do?
Well, I've done several different things. I've just finished a short-term contract as a courier, and now I'm working as a waiter in one of the big hotels.
Uh-huh. That can't leave you much time for studying.
Oh, it's not too bad. I managed to fit it all in.
What are you studying?
My ambition is to go into Parliament eventually, so my major subject is politics. That's partly why I think the Youth Council is important and want to be a part of it.
And I suppose you're also taking a minor subject, aren't you? I know a lot of people study economics too.
I chose history. To be honest, I'm not finding it as interesting as I expected.
OK, so with your studying and your part-time job, do you have time for any other interests or hobbies?
Well, I spend quite a lot of time cycling, both around town to get to university and to work, and also long distance, from here to London, for instance.
That's pretty impressive. Anything else?
For relaxation, I'm also keen on the cinema. I used to go at least once a week, but I can't manage to go so often now.
Right. Are you sure you'll have enough time for the Youth Council?
Yes, I've worked out that I can afford to reduce my hours at work, and that will make the time.
So is there any particular aspect of the Youth Council's work that appeals to you, Roger?
Well, my sister is blind, so I'm particularly interested in working with disabled young people to try and improve the quality of their lives.
That's great. Well, the best way to get involved is to be nominated by some people who you know.
Right. Can you tell me how to set about organising that?
You should talk to Jeffrey, our elections officer. I can arrange a meeting in the council office with him, if you like.
Yes, please.
He'll be here next Monday, if that suits you.
That's the 14th, isn't it?
Yes.
I can manage late afternoon.
Would you like to suggest a time? He generally leaves around 5:30.
Well, would 4:30 be okay? My last class finishes at 4, so I'd have plenty of time to get to your office.
Right, that's fine. Oh, and could I have a phone number we can contact you on?
Yes, my mobile number's 07788 136 711.
Thank you. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks very much. Goodbye.
Bye.
Now you can check your answers here. I have written them here as in the blanks, so you can check. But something very important I would like to point out here is that you cannot simply listen for a few words and write them down immediately as answers. Why not? Because this is a listening comprehension test, not just a hearing test. For example, here we needed the name of a place to stay. Where do you live, Roger? And the thing is, several places were mentioned to distract you from the correct answer. First, he mentions the flat, and after that, but he says he's looking for a flat, not living in one. Then we hear another place where he stays from Monday to Friday, which means the weekdays. So Monday to Friday is a paraphrase for during the week, which we saw in the question. After that, we hear another place to stay, and this time it is his parents' place. However, he stays at his parents' place at the weekend, not during the week. So the correct answer is hostel. Now let's quickly wrap up what we learned today. Today we focused on the basics of IELTS Listening Part 1, including common question types, importance of reading the title, the value of prediction, and how to use keywords and paraphrases to guide your answers. These small strategies can make a big difference in your score, especially if you want to perform confidently and accurately in the test to get a 9. In the next episodes, we will cover many more question types from the other parts of the IELTS listening test. Make sure to check the IELTS Listening Band 9 playlist regularly so you don't miss any of the videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel and share my videos with other English learners and those who are preparing for the IELTS exam. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to write them in the comments section. I would love to read your experiences with IELTS or your English learning journey. I do read your comments and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Until the next video, keep learning, keep improving, and remember, consistency always pays off.